And welcome to Global Matters, a program that brings to you global issues that shape the world, issues of international and global agenda to determine our national and common interests in Nigeria. My name is Tunde Alabi, and thank you for being part of the program today. Thank God it's another Friday, as usual. Today on the program, we're looking at an international non-for-profit organization based in the United Kingdom, the Royal African Society of London. This organization was founded in 1901 to promote and continue the works of an English writer and explorer, Mary Kingsley, who traveled to several African countries several times in the 1890s. And this organization has grown into a huge international advocacy organization 120 years after, still pushing the causes of Africans from London to the rest of the world. Mary's works in Africa at that time influenced the European study of the African continent and represented what the Royal African Society London does today. As the organization celebrates its 120 years of existence, we on this program join the rest of the world to celebrate with this international advocacy institution that received the Queen's Royal Charter in 1935. Zainab Badawi, a Sudanese-born British broadcaster, currently sits as the chair of the organization. She says more about the Royal African Society in this very short piece.
The Royal African Society is, well, listen up, because although we've been around for simply ages, we are still going places. We are the hottest hub for everything that's innovative, creative, coming out of the continent. We also connect people, academics, business people, politicians. We administer the all-party parliamentary group on Africa, which is the largest group of its kind in the British Parliament. African Arguments, our magazine, is a site where you hear hard-hitting opinions, controversial views, some of the best journalism coming out of the continent and also from the diaspora here in the UK. Our education programme brings vibrant cultural programmes to our schools.
When I was very kindly asked the patron of the Royal African Society last year, it was a pretty easy offer to accept. As events such as your Africa Rights and Film Africa festivals demonstrate, African communities continue to make an essential contribution to the future of both this country and the African continent.
Our diverse and influential network has a great deal to offer, so please come and find out more what the Royal African Society can do for you and also what you can do for us. Join us.
The world has become more connected than ever before. Every continent, color, race, language, and religion, even government, move towards common goals. We now live in a global village. Here on this program, we bring you global issues to shape our world.
Government can do a lot with tax revenues collected for health and education.
The role of the European Union is to accompany a partner, that is Nigeria, in offering our lessons learned to see whether together we can improve that situation.
The emphasis on education, on vocational training, on the development of entrepreneurship is absolutely critical to its democracy.
The Nigerian government, we would ask them to follow up the investigations that we have had, the evidence that we have gathered, and ultimately we made a number of recommendations.
As we travel the world, we explore these issues of international and diplomatic relevance. Indeed, the global agenda that determine our national and common interests. With me, Tunde Alabi, live on EIT. All right, and that was Zainab Badawi, the chair of the Royal African Society, London, talking to us about what that organization does earlier. Why the organization engages African policymakers, Africans in the diaspora, and other top African institutions on a variety of issues ranging from politics, economic development, government and governance, designed to advance the development of Africa and Africans through conferences, seminars, and other public engagement mechanisms. The Royal African Society has also hosted a couple of Nigerian politicians and policymakers, among whom were Dr. Obiageli Ezekwesili and former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And in fact, we've had the privilege of attending a couple of their programs in London. In fact, for former President Olusegun Obasanjo in February 2015, he was hosted by the Royal African Society in London, where he launched his book, My Watch. In honor of the 120 years of great service to Africa, and indeed former President Obasanjo's influence in Nigeria and Africa. We will play back Obasanjo's review of Nigeria at the launch of his book at the Royal African Society in London in 2015. We were also privileged to be part of that meeting. Watch.
Jumping forward, you've fought in the Civil War and you took the surrender of Biafra. Could that war have been avoided, and would it have been better if Biafra had split away? What would Nigeria look like if they'd won their independence from Nigeria?
Richard, those are, we can only speculate about what it would have been if Biafra broke away permanently. But for me, as a Nigerian, I'm very happy. I was very happy, and I'm very happy today, and I will be very happy until I die that Biafra did not break away permanently. As I always say to Nigerians, I believe that all of us in Nigeria, we are better off because Nigeria remained a united, viable country. I say this to those, because there are still those who believe that Nigerian unity is a mistake, that Lord Lugard made the greatest mistake of his life by bringing the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate together. I am not one of those who felt that way. I feel that God doesn't make a mistake, and if God used Lord Lugard to bring Nigeria together, that was what God wished for Nigeria and the people of Nigeria. And it meant this, that we as Nigerians have responsibility for ourselves. But we must realize that we also have responsibility beyond ourselves, by virtue of the fact that Nigeria is the largest country in Africa, and by virtue of the fact that Nigeria is the largest black race in the world. Now that imposes certain amount of responsibility on us, and that is one of the reasons why we must constantly remind ourselves as Nigerians that we are not for ourselves alone. So when we do what we should not do, we shouldn't blame it on anybody. As you will see in that book, I didn't blame the British for what we are not doing well. After how many years? We have celebrated 50 years of independence. Who are we blaming? Or who should we be blaming? Now, so you ask, would Nigeria have been better off? I don't think so. Maybe if Biafra had gone on between the borders of Nigeria and borders of Biafra, we will have military men permanently manning the borders. Well, we don't have that now. And I remember, and I brought that in the book, when in 1998, 99, I was going around campaigning to be elected president of Nigeria. I went to Kano, and one of the important, come from one important family of Dantata, Sanusi Dantata. I went to him at about 10 p.m. to solicit his support. And Sanusi Dantata looked at me and said, "Yeah, you want to be president of Nigeria?" I said, "Yes, I've been convinced that I should be." He said, "Then you have to convince me that I will not need to take passport or to take a visa to go to Lagos or to take a visa to go to Port Harcourt." I said, "Sir, it is because I don't want to take a visa to come to Kano that I have accepted to be president of Nigeria. He said, in that case, I vote for you. So you said, could the war have been avoided? I believe so. Not on the basis of Aburi Agreement, because Aburi Agreement definitely was not in favor or was not suitable for a united Nigeria. But maybe if the two military leaders then, Gawan and Emeka Ojukwu, have exercised a little bit of caution, maybe. Neither of them had expressed remorse for what had happened. I was closer to Emeka Ojukwu than I was to Gawan, because Emeka Ojukwu and I served in the 5th Battalion together, and our rooms were next door to each other. And at the end of the war, of course, I know that you have a blow. The first blow was the coup. And in law of physics, they say action and reactions are equal and opposite. Now, in human interaction, actions and reactions are opposite, but they are not equal. Now, if you give me a blow and I have opportunity, I will give you 2. Now, if you give me 3, if I have opportunity, I will want to knock you down and stand on you. Now, so action and reaction in human interaction is opposite. It may be opposite, but it may not be equal. And we had that situation where we had action, the coup of 15th of January 1966, and then reaction, which came in July, and then reaction to reaction, which was the secession, and then reaction to reaction to reaction, which was the civil war launched. And you can see the escalation, how it goes from one step to another. Now, but I believe we should thank God that it did not lead to permanent division of Nigeria. I am happy for that. Yeah. And I believe that we must learn the right lessons, as I try to even bring out in my book on the Civil War, and also in this book.
Okay. To come up to date, in your book you're very critical of the 2 previous presidents. President Yaradua you describe as, and I quote, tardy, shoddy, selfish, unpatriotic, and reckless. And you describe his presidency as the looting of Nigeria. These are harsh words. On President Goodluck Jonathan, you refer to his inability to deal with Boko Haram, and you speak of his ineptitude, ineffectiveness, inefficiency, carelessness, callousness, insensitivity, cluelessness, and selfishness. These are very tough words.
Richard.
They're your words, not mine.
A very bad situation need a strong medicine to deal with it. We normally talk of a disease. When I was growing up in the village. And when you have a disease, you need a strong concoction to deal with it. When you hope and you work, not just for the goodness, but for the greatness of a country, and you have spilled your blood. I was wounded in the Civil War for that country, and you have been imprisoned unduly for that country, and then you see people frittering away all the goodwill, all that can make that country great and good. And you see, because for me, it's not just an armchair critic. I've gone through it. I know what can be done. I know what is not being done. And I go around the world and they say, well, Nigeria is not at the table. And if Nigeria is not at the table, what does Africa do? I say, Then you expect me to come back home and say, hey, well done, champ. I've gone around the world and they say, while you are on watch, during your watch for Nigeria, Nigeria is not at the table and you are doing well. Of course, that will not be what you will expect me to do. And not only that, well, these are two people. Take Yaradua. His slogan during his campaign is continuity. I don't expect him to continue everything my administration has done in every detail. But look at what we have done and see what you can continue, and if you cannot continue, why you cannot continue. I always tell people in Nigeria, president before me, people after me, that you have no cause to fail. Because the president of Nigeria can call any Nigerian anywhere in the world for advice, or anybody anywhere in the world for advice, guidance, information, what have you. Let me give you an example. When I took over as president of Nigeria, one of the things I wanted to do is diversify the economy. And I wanted to pay attention, apart from agriculture, I wanted to pay attention to what they call solid mineral, that's minerals other than oil and gas. So I went to a friend of mine in in New York, who's made his fortune from solid mineral. And I said, friend, look, I want you to come to Nigeria. He said, what for? I said, for solid mineral. He said, you are joking. A friend of mine, I'm in government, I'm head of government, and I want him to come. He said, you are joking. I said, what do you mean that I'm joking? He said, look, those of us who sit in New York, or in Frankfurt, or in London, and take decision to invest in solid mineral or whatever, we have more than 50% assurance that our investment will yield something. I said, but we have solid minerals in Nigeria, you will yield something. So wait, where is your law? And we had no law. So where is your regulation? And we had no regulation. He said, where is your survey to give us an idea of where, what mineral you have and where? And we had nothing like that. So then I turned to him and said, okay, now, you say I was joking. Now I don't want to joke. I want to be serious. So what do I do? So first of all, you must have a law. I said, where do I go? He said, go to the World Bank and tell them this is what you need. They will give you the draft of a law. You can, and that's what I did. I went to the World Bank. I said, no, okay, now I want to pursue investment in solid mineral, and the rest of them.
Okay. Nigeria is linked in many people's minds with the word corruption, and it has been a scourge in Nigeria and Africa generally. You appointed Malam Nuhu Ribadu as the anti-corruption guy, and you call him in the book courageous and intrepid, and you say you fully backed him. But a WikiLeak dated 31st of December 2007 reveals a conversation between Mr. Ribadu and Robin Saunders, who was then the US ambassador to Nigeria. She says that Ribadu told her that, and I quote, "You really knew how to play the game. Although he, that's you, created the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and understood it's important internationally for him, Ribadu explained that by far, even more than in the Abacha days where he was the sole thief, corruption in Obasanjo's 8 years was far worse because everyone stole. No doubt he did as well. However, he added, Obasanjo was a political machine. He knew how to play the game for the international community and cover his tracks, and for good or bad, he got it as regards to what the role of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission role was and should be." What do you say to that? Have you seen that? All right. This is Ambassador Saunders, Robin Saunders.
Who said that?
Reporting on what Ribadu said about you. I'm surprised nobody's...
No, nobody has ever pointed that to me.
Oh, okay.
But you will also see the report published in my book of what Ribadu, what his total investigation on me.
Yeah?
Portrayed.
Okay. But he doesn't say this. He doesn't.
Not at all.
But he seemed to have said this to the ambassador.
Well, if I will not want to believe this, but if it is said by Ribadu, I will be surprised. If it's said by the ambassador, I will not be surprised.
It's filtered. Well, it's
now,
ambassador.
and I'm sure that if Ribadu sees this, he will, because it will be contradictory, completely contradictory to his report, which I publish here. And the first thing that Ribadu did was he came here. He brought Metropolitan Police, and they came to me and said, "Look, sir, we are happy that you now allow us." I say, "Allow you to do what?" He said, "To investigate them freely." He said, "Before you came, when we are investigating and it's going too far, they will say, well, stop. It's going too far, stop it." But nobody will say I ever stop him from investigating anybody or investigating me. And if that is the case, Ribadu couldn't have said that. But if I have said it, then it will be different from the report, in which case it will be fraudulent of him. Now, if the ambassador has said it, well, I know that ambassadors lie for their country.
Okay. I thought I should raise
All right. Thank you for taking the time to join us on the program. That was a very good interview on the floor of the Royal Medicines at the Royal African Society in London, where former President Olusegun Obasanjo was there to launch his book. I mean, before I let you go, quick two things that I found at the event that we found very shocking, that Obasanjo was not aware of the fact that there was a WikiLeaks information as released by Ribadu, WikiLeaks, where Ribadu was quoted as saying that President Obasanjo played international politics, and he played it very well. There was looting everywhere, but the looting in his government was massive, and he knew how to cover his tracks. It was a shock to President Obasanjo, and he never believed that Ribadu could say that. But just opposed that to what Obasanjo had done and has said about two previous about the presidents that came after him, the very harsh and very tough words he used in describing late Umaru, Yaradua, and former President Jonathan, how he used very disparaging words in describing their personality and their government. But look, when the all right, so we will come back to this, but we wish the Royal African Society a very wonderful 120-year celebrations as they mark a wonderful milestone in working for Africa from London. I thank you for your time today. We'll continue on this part. Again, my name is Tula Labi. Sincere appreciation to the team who has made today's program very possible. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe and keep safe. COVID is still out there. Bye.